Big assalamu alaikum to all of you. This is Umer Khan, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be talking to you for the next 30 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, you have spent a hectic day, I hope, a day full of learning, listening to some amazing, amazing insights, and have probably gotten a lot of answers to the challenges that you have. This talk is not going to give you answers. We are going to do what we love doing the most, asking questions. So I hope by the end of these 30 minutes, you will leave with many more questions than you joined. So if we are ready, let's talk about what COVID has done to all of us. We find ourselves in a situation जहां पे हम देख रहे हैं कि यार कितना कुछ है solve करने वाला. The world as we know have changed. But can we solve everything at our hands, or do we have to focus on some areas? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know the answers, but I do know the questions for you to ask. And we hope that if you ask the right questions, you will know the right problem and you will know what to solve. Take the example of the LearnFest. Now, there are multiple problems that the team of Umer and Sarah and everybody else is trying to solve. Now, have they been able to solve every single problem? But hopefully, they have been able to focus on the right ones. And hence, the results are for you to see. So, फिर problems होती कैसे हैं? हम सब बहुत सारा content, literature देख चुके हैं, पढ़ चुके हैं, जो हमें बताता है कि यार problem की definition कैसे करते हैं. What is the right way to define a problem? But what if you keep on defining the problems, but you are not focusing on the right problems? What if you are focusing on the wrong problems? What if, as Stephen Covey says, that you are barking on the wrong ladder? So by that, it means that you have learned how to climb that ladder. लेकिन क्या हम लोगों ने ये मिलके आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया है कि ये जो लैडर है ये सही वॉल के अगेंस्ट लगी हुई है? So with all our techniques, theories, understanding of trying to solve the problems, are we focusing on the right problems? Because if we find ourselves climbing the wrong ladder, we are going to climb really, really fast. But once we reach the top, we will probably find out that we are looking at a neighbor's ghar, और वहां से हमें, obviously, we are not going to be too welcome. So if you want to identify ladder you want to pick, then you must also identify what problems to solve. So problems होती किस तरह की हैं? Let's just say professional problems. अब आप नई CEO लग गए हैं किसी जगह पे, आपने एक नई कंपनी ज्वाइन की है, and these are your first few days. Well, you will not really have a lot of control because you are going to be given a list of problems. You've been hired to solve something. You are an HR head. You have been hired to bring about a certain kind of a change. So these are professional problems. The thing about professional problems is that no matter how many problems you solve, they are not going to get exhausted. The more problems you solve, the more problems keep coming up. And then you have personal problems. Now, personal problems भी जितनी भी आप solve करेंगे, problems तो और आएंगी. But they at least, for example, building capacity, doing something about your health, improving a relationship, all of these will at least give you some new learning and will probably be able to help you utilize your time. But at the same time, these problems are still going to remain for you. And then comes, as I call them, the societal or the social problems. These are the things which your friends will put forward to you. These are the favors that people are going to ask for you. These are your loved ones who are going to come to you and say, can you solve this for me? Or these can come from right within your heart because this is the cause you believe in. You want to solve a problem for the society, for the mahalla you live in, for the country you are a citizen of. You see an injustice happen and it impacts you. This speaks to you. It means a lot to you and you want to solve that. So ladies and gentlemen, if we have these three set of problems and many more, obviously under each you have interpersonal problems, you have your goal related problems, you have all kinds of problems. How do we know what to solve? तो फिर ऐसा करते हैं, to try and solve the problem, Let's try and create a little bit of a basic filter. So सबसे पहले तो हम ये करते हैं कि पहली चीज we have to ask ourselves is कि क्या कंट्रोल भी है या नहीं है? Is this something we can control? Is this something which is internal or is this something which is external? I mean, that's classic, right? I mean, are you spending or investing your time in trying to solve something which you don't even have control over? I mean, you've had many theories, and this talk is not about trying to, talk about the same. So we are not going to invest too much time talking about what can you control and what you cannot. But probably a childhood prayer mere zehn mein aati hai. This is probably one of the earliest memories I have of a poster in my room which said, "Oh God, please give me the courage to change what I can, the patience to accept what I cannot, and the wisdom to see the difference." Okay? So if you have that wisdom to see the difference, the next step for you is to try and visualize the problems and see if you are able to solve any one, what can you gain out of it? So is the gain important enough? Is that large enough? Is that something that gets you excited to try and go up that route, try to walk on that road and try to solve that? And if that speaks to your heart, then why not? Then probably that's a problem that you need to solve. And along with that comes the third filter that you put yourself to. And that is, what if you don't solve a problem? Can you bear the consequences? Are you ready to accept the challenges? Now, for everything you do, there will be many things that you are deciding not to do. For every gain that you get, there are going to be lots of consequences for the things that you don't get. How do they weigh against each other? But my friends, that's a very basic filter that you are going to be applying to try and zone in into finding out what problems to solve. The more interesting question, however, is why are you trying to solve the problems? Are you reacting to something? Or do you have the courage to direct your life? Now, as many of you will provide, it doesn't really, many of you will say that you don't have control over it. I have hired a new, a person who has joined as a consultant in my team, and we have given him a task and said, कि जी आपने ये करना है. That person can come to me after this talk and say कि उमर भाई आप तो कह रहे थे कि यार कंट्रोल होता है, आपने तो मुझे पूरा इतना सारा काम लोड कर दिया कि मेरे पास तो कोई चॉइस ही नहीं है कि मैं कोई अपनी मर्जी का काम कर सकूं. Well, my friends, that's the question. The choice is always there, because you have to understand if you have the right mix. And the right mix means, what are you focusing on? Are you spending your entire time trying to solve the crisis or the problems that have been handed over to you? Or have you really asked yourself that who you are? What is the purpose of you in your life? And your decisions directing you towards that purpose? Because my friends, the test is always in the moment. Life provides you many of these moments. The choices you make in that test determines your future. If you and me are not clear of where we want to end up as human beings, then what happens is that we start our lives, as somebody says, कि हम पैदा होते हैं, हमें घर वाले कहते हैं कि यार अच्छा चलो पढ़ लो, यही टाइम है, बचपन में जो पढ़ लोगे उसका बाद में फायदा होगा. आप नर्सरी पास करके मैट्रिक में जाते हो, लेवल्स में जाते हो, and then you are told, okay, now your problem is that you have to get results over here. Because if you get results, you will end up in a good college. If you end up in a good college, you are told, this is your time, इसमें पढ़ लो because अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी में दाखला मिल जाएगा. और अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी में दाखला मिल जाता है तो उसके बाद हम कहते हैं कि चलो यार थोड़ी सी और मेहनत कर लो, बिकॉज गेस व्हाट, नौकरियां तो बहुत कम है, इकोनॉमी तो बहुत डाउन है। अगर तुमने अब कुछ सीख लिया, अगर तुमने उन चंद लोगों में से आ गए जिनको अभी जॉब मिल जाएगी, तो देन यू विल प्रोबेबली, और जिनको ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाएगी, तो देन यू विल प्रोबेबली हैव अ ब्राइट फ्यूचर. सो इन्वेस्ट एवरीथिंग दैट यू हैव इन दिस टाइम एंड मेक समथिंग ऑफ योरसेल्फ. एंड देन वी स्टार्ट द फर्स्ट फ्यू इयर्स ऑफ अ करियर. Once we start the first few years of career, guess what क्या कहा जाता है? अभी तो टाइम है, कर लो जो करना है, बिकॉज ये पहले कुछ साल है, फिर शादी हो जाएगी. शादी हो जाएगी तो क्या करोगे? फिर शादी हो जाती है. शादी के बाद आप कहते हो कि अच्छा चलो यार, ओ फाइन, आई हैव डन एवरीथिंग दैट आई वाज टोल्ड, नाउ आई हैव चॉइस इन माय हैंड. बट यू आर स्टिल फोकसिंग ऑन द सेम प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज यू आर टोल्ड कि अभी तो शादी के कुछ साल हैं, फिर बच्चे हो जाएंगे, अभी मेहनत कर लो. बच्चे होते हैं तो बच्चे छोटे होते हैं, अभी मेहनत कर लो. फिर क्या होता है? बच्चे बड़े हो जाते हैं, और फिर क्या होता है? फिर आप अपने बच्चों को कहते हो अभी तो टाइम है, मेहनत कर लो. So what happens, my friends? The cycle continues. Do we control anything in our life? Do you decide what problems you wanted to solve, or we have been led on this path where we felt that we had no choice on what problems to solve? Have we led a life we wanted to do, or have we been forced to lead a life because of the choices, because of the problems those were presented to us and we were forced to do it? Do we know the right mix? Yes, you and me will be focusing on crisis. Yes, you and me are focusing on things which we don't have control to, and we must go out and solve. But in that mix, क्या कोई ऐसी भी चीज है जो मैं अपने लिए कर रहा हूं? What is that right mix? How many problems that I do for others, and how many things that I solve for things that I believe in? I don't know. That's your mix for you to find out. What appeals to you? Are you happy living a life that others are directing for you? Or you want to decide that my life is going to be determined by the choices that I make? My friends, take an example of a new government coming in. क्या होएगा? अच्छा यार, एजुकेशन नहीं है, अच्छा यार इकोनॉमी के हालात बुरे हैं, ऊपर से तो हेल्थ का क्राइसिस भी आ गया, अब हम क्या करें? कोविड-19 के बाद what is the area that we should pay our attention or focus on? Should we be focusing only on the health side, or should we also try and save the poor? Should we also focus on the economy, or should we focus only on protecting health? Now, I don't know. If I was in power, my choices will be very different maybe to the people who are in power right now. But whoever get to make that question, my friend, whoever get to ask that question needs to first of all ask, okay, what do you stand for? Because you may feel that the problems are not yours to decide. Absolutely. You don't get to choose कि किस घर में पैदा हुए हैं. You don't get to choose a lot of things that happen to you in life. But you certainly get to choose the reaction to the things that happen to you. So, my friends, as you browse through these list of trainers and activities and learnings and try to see what to focus on your life, and you get inspired by somebody else doing something, ask yourself, is this for you? Ask yourself that the answer or the solution to this problem, will that be meaningful? Will that give you joy? There are two kinds of problems. Problems that make you happy, that give you joy, that give you meaning. The solution of those problems make you happy and give you joy. And then there are problems, the solution to those take everything away from you. What are you focusing on? How many of the problems that give you joy versus how many of the problems that take a lot out of you? Will every decision bring forth many more decisions? Will the solution of a problem come hand in hand with many other problems? Absolutely. For example, I have a friend who's, mashallah, say very, very ambitious and has her priorities right for her family and for everybody around her. However, despite that, there are challenges, there are problems that needs to be solved. Working in a particular organization, अच्छा, ये कल्चर सूट नहीं कर रहा, ये ग्रोथ वैसी नहीं है जहां पे मैं जाना चाहता था या चाहती थी, ये ऐसी environment नहीं है where I feel I am being able to do justice with who I am as a person. So what? Okay, I'm ready to make a move. But what if you make the move? Where will you end up? You probably end up into a situation where something else in your life is going to be challenged. So by focusing on a problem that was close to your heart and the solution of which was bringing you joy, is in parallel also making it tough for you. Probably making it tough for your family to be together. Probably making it tough for your children to be in an environment where they were used to be. How do you make that choice? The only way to make that choice, my friends, is to get on a journey. When we do our leadership programs and we go on those experiential journeys, we encourage everybody to challenge their thoughts and ask themselves this very question. If I ask you right now, how many problems are you trying to solve at this point in time? Most of us will give us a list, a huge list of problems that we face. And sometimes as we did that as an example in a training a few days ago, the moment we asked that, the number of problems that came up were much more than anybody thought कि वो possible है. So पहले पूछा किसी से कि कितनी problems है जी, 10 हैं. किसी ने कहा 15 हैं. और जब list down करने लगे तो पता चला कि जी वो एक list बढ़ती जा रही है. And then we had to say, अच्छा भाई रुक जाओ अभी तो. How many of those problems are you actually trying to solve? How many of those problems are you actually trying to find a solution for? And if given a choice, your active actions for the solutions of those problems, are they for the problems जिनका solution आपको joy देगा? या they are for the problems जिनका solution आपसे और बहुत कुछ ले लेगा? आप किस चीज पे फोकस करना चाहते हैं? For that, it is important to understand what you stand for. As we try to look at this world post-COVID, or environmental understanding भी create हो गई, new definitions for the organizations have come up. यार अब वो ज़माना नहीं है. Up we will probably not have to focus on the profits or the single focus on the profits that it used to be and do lip service to all the things as the environment and as the people health and as the motivation. Now it is probably time to do something meaningful about that. But I ask you, what is the guarantee? If we really haven't dig deep and really haven't understood what we stand for, as things start to improve, the businesses, the organizations which haven't done too well in these past 5 to 6 months, what is stopping them from doing what they were doing previously, doing it even more aggressively? Just because we have experienced something which has challenged us to think differently, in this moment, probably our focus is on the things or on the priorities where we feel we should have focused on. But then the reasons for making the wrong choices haven't changed. They're still very much there. If you and me start a journey with the same challenges as we had started started a journey earlier, probably the answers are also going to be the same. So चलें फिर ऐसा करते हैं कि अपने आप से कुछ सवाल पूछ लेते हैं. और I will like to ask yourself, do you really know what you stand for? Take a minute and write down on a piece of paper or on your cell phone in a sentence what you stand for. Once you do that, ask yourself a second question. How many actions are you taking in trying to solve the problems that amplify what you stand for? Is there a gap? Now, is that gap because of the situation around you? Or can you do something about it? Are you going to only focus on the things that have been given to you? Or have you done something about trying to analyze and pinpoint which we want to improve? A chief selector, a coach, and all of us know who we're talking about right now, of a cricket team. What's the first thing that person should do? Will what that person do in our circumstances of the Pakistani cricket? क्या उसके जो आंसर्स होंगे वो आपके आंसर से मिलना जरूरी है? My friends, the actions which that particular person will take in his capacity as a leader will be echoed in the history. The actions will define the story. What story do you want to write? How much of the problems bring you joy? If you have the answer to that question, you will be able to solve and lead a much better life. I will like to stay connected, and I look forward to hearing from you on various social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we hope that together we can create a future we desire. Thank you very much. This is Umer Khan signing off. Thank you very much.